I'm Dondo, my good friend and partner Miguel sitting across from me.
What's up?
And we have a very special guest, none other than, some people call him Old Man Jeff, and that's only because he's been in the game longer than anyone other than John Della O that I know. So welcome, Jeff Alterman.
Oh, thank you.
Good to have you, man.
Yeah, how long have I been training? I was thinking about the other day. I was been with John for over 18 years. Can you imagine that?
18 years.
So he got to the
That's a long
question
time.
before I got to it, but 18 years with John Della O is a long time.
I read your mind.
You do.
I read your
You
mind.
looked into my eyes and saw some magic. But 18 years with De La O, and where did that begin? Was that back in Lincoln?
Yeah, Lincoln. It's a quick story. So I've been training with my buddy doing Krav Maga, but he was teaching jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the jiu-jitsu, but, I liked the Krav Maga. So I go, you know what? He was closing down. He was just down the street from John. And I go, I'll try this. So I pulled up at John's place, and you guys have both been to Lincoln. It's not the nicest place. So all of a sudden, this girl, I think she might have been a lady of the night, jumps in my car. And I'm going to go sign up for John. And I go, what's going on here, right?
What kind of place is this?
And her pimp.
You're like, this is what kind of dojo, dude.
And
Does this come with my monthly?
Yeah. And her pimp's going to beat the shit out of her, so I have to take her home. So I put her in my car, drove her home, and then I think I hit to John's about a week later. And when we first go in there, talk to John, nobody will talk to you for about a month.
Yeah.
Because they don't think you're going to last.
We all had that experience.
Yeah,
I had
of
about a
course.
year of nobody talking to me.
Do they talk to you now?
Barely.
He actually steals his stuff.
I worked my way in and worked my way out.
Yeah.
Those new chodies that Delo's rocking, those were his.
Were you ever at Lincoln? You guys ever at Lincoln?
No. That
No,
precedes
I
my-
started after.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But I other than stories and pictures and stuff, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Catella guy.
There's some crazy
Beat your
stories.
Catella, baby.
Crazy stories. Crazy.
Showgirls 101 or whatever that was next door.
It was a liquor store.
Red Lips.
Oh yeah.
That's where the new place
The new
is.
place where we're at
Oh, yeah.
now.
Now it's a
yeah.
mortuary. They're going in and out.
If they ask me what is my favorite tale about Lincoln, a really quick story. So Tommy's getting ready to fight. Thomas Kenny.
Yes.
Everybody knows him.
Of
Kenny
course,
Gates,
they better know him.
Yeah. So we're doing Monkey in the Middle.
Yeah.
So it's my turn. And, hey, I was big and I was tough. I was aggressive. But this guy's kicking the shit out of me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My nose is over here, my eyes bleeding, everything else. So I jump up and kick him right in the chest, an old karate move, and I knock him across the room, right? Everybody's going, whoa, what the hell? And Tommy just looks at me, he smiles. Thank God the round was over. I'll never forget that.
Saved by the
He
bell.
looked at me, yeah, and finally that day I got Tommy's respect. But boy, he goes, oh, you should do that all the time. I go, hell no, I was so scared. I was shitting my pants, man.
That brings on instinct and impulse, and
yeah.
you're fighting from survival at that point, right?
survival.
Yeah.
And that's important to
for
have
sure.
that. It's fight
Yeah.
or flight, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you had
And
something ready for a guy like Tom. That's a pretty tough thing
he
to
was-
come up with.
I don't remember who he was fighting, but the guy was good. But
Sure.
I jumped up and I kicked him. I was like, and everybody's going, "Oh my God, that was great!" Shit, I was so scared.
Yeah.
And then I think about 2 months later, Iwi was fighting,
Oh
and the
gosh.
same thing happened. But I kicked Iwi right in the stern,
Yeah.
and he went down. And then I praised myself. Oh yeah, I played out.
Well, he
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
fought at what, 225? What did Iwi fight at? 200?
205.
205.
No, 85.
Yeah.
185.
185.
Yeah.
That seems small for Iwi because he walks around at 225 then.
Well, he's
I know
made,
he
he's
fought
made
at
it. Yeah,
185,
185.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a big boy,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's solid. Like
Yeah.
that's there's no ifs, ands, or buts, man.
Yeah.
So to get ready in fight camp with a guy like that, Tommy, no slouch, but
Oh.
Iwi, just being
I think Tommy. Yeah, they were both super, super tough. Tommy,
and young and strong.
Oh God, yeah. Because
And
I first started, I was 38 when I started jiu-jitsu,
Wow.
and then, but I fought all the point sparring for years.
Uh-huh.
All the points, because that's all there was point
Yeah.
tournaments.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I fought all those circuits and stuff, and
Well, when you say for years, let's go back. What brings you to the fight game? So you grew up here, Orange County?
yeah, I grew up in Orange County, and make a long story short, there's a bully in my neighborhood, and he'd grab, knock on the door, come get me, and we go play football across the street, and it got rough, and it'd be all out fight. And so he trained with a guy named David Nueva, and David Nueva, old school surfer, but he was actually the king of Hawaii. But he was the Chinese Polynesian Kempo, and he was God, who was maybe the Eddie Bravo
Sure.
of that era back then.
Like
Okay.
Benny the Jet Urquidez
Oh, yeah.
guys?
Oh, amazing. So I go, this guy is beating the shit out of me. And I go, forget this, right? I think I was 12 or 13. I remember, And then I go, I gotta start training, man. I'm getting my butt kicked.
Yeah.
So I got a job at a liquor store. And then I started training, and he backed off, and that's how I started. I started my training. But the interesting part is, we started fighting tournaments, and he put his colors on. It was a velvet color, and you walk into it was at UCI or it was at Long Beach Arena, and you start sparring.
Yeah.
And I remember my first one, I broke my thumb. I go, look, my thumb's broke. Tape it up, get my ass back in there. But this was a tough man.
Sure.
David Nueva. And then I got really good at the point sparring. For
what
me.
was this called? Where did he teach? Is it
was
Kempo karate? What is it?
Chinese Polynesian Kempo.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all hand.
Uh-huh.
Jeff Spielman.
Okay.
It was his style.
Okay.
Because there's a style called Kaju Kembo where they kind of mix it up. It gets closer to mixed martial arts. I don't know if you heard of that. In Hawaii, Kaju Kembo was kind of a precursor to the mixed martial arts things. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have that here, but I remember seeing it there. And they grappled not quite to the ground like we do, but
Yeah.
So I saw that early. Maybe that wasn't the style, but some of these guys, they mixed it up pretty early. So
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds like you're getting a lot of sparring in at least at that time, right?
Oh, yeah. But I got really good. I mean, when I say really good, I mean in my mind.
Yeah.
And I got really cocky. And I was a badass, right? And so I won a couple tournaments, and then hey, I'm in the dojo. I'm parading my trophy. I had a nice trophy up there.
Yeah.
And I'm bragging to all the
Pretty
other
cool.
students. Yeah, I'm cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I was like equivalent to a purple belt there.
Okay.
And so his he had a cousin named, I forgot what his name, I think it was Kevin. He goes, you spar, come with me, And he put his hands out. I go, oh, look at this idiot. You know what I mean? He's a black belt. I'm going to beat the shit out of him. So I remember throwing my punch and do this, and I remember waking up. He goes, you never brag. You never brag. You
Got
be
it.
humble the rest of your life.
Yeah. Got it.
And that's what made me humble.
That's
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Made
always
me
something that one moment or precise thing that happens.
Yeah,
that,
you never, if you win a
But,
fight, you
for
just
sure.
put your head down, thank everybody, and leave. But getting back to this guy named, I don't know if I don't know if he's even around.
You're on it, talking.
Melendres, toughest guy. So when you're back in the day when I was doing fighting, right? How
Yeah.
do you challenge yourself? You do these point sparring, but you can't really touch anything. But you can knock out people, But the only way we got tough, we could figure it out. We had a street fight.
Yeah.
So we would.
He's told me this before, so I believe him. Let's put that a little closer for
So
you.
we'd have to go in. There's in Santa Ana. I don't know if they're still there. The F
Troop, yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
we'd go take our car, and we'd actually fight these guys to see how good we were. And sometimes we did okay. Sometimes we got our butt kicked.
Yeah.
It was. That's
No
the only
way.
That's the only way you can see.
You know what?
How else would you?
That's
challenge
actually
yourself?
pretty cool. Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for you, Jeff, in that not only did you put your skill to the test, you did it in the street.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no ref and there's no tapping out in the
No.
street.
No.
And those guys carry guns, knives.
They weren't that
Bricks.
back then. They weren't.
It was clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was no knives. And I think they did a couple of chains.
Yeah.
But they weren't. There's no.
Yeah.
And you drove down there and just let's go, and that's how you knew if you're good at street fighting.
Wow.
So that you got challenged.
I like it.
And
I love it.
That's a cool
I
story.
love
Yeah.
this guy. So
yeah, you went
the real
with you went
thing.
with a guy. And the guys knew how to street fight, and you had to become a good street fighter, or you're getting your butt kicked.
Sure.
But there's times like my nose is sideways.
Yeah.
I'm really beat up, and or you get jumped.
Yeah.
And stuff, and,
Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah, that
outnumber you.
happens.
Yeah, and I know the guys that like.
Well, they start coming out of the windows and the doorways
Yeah.
and the cars, and you
Yeah.
didn't even see them there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what that's
So
about.
running across the roof,
Right?
whatever,
Yeah, and then so I stayed with him for I think 7 or 8 years, and then I got in a little trouble because of my fighting.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and,
That
and
happens.
yeah,
It's
I
all
got a
good.
lot of trouble.
You were before the days of cell phones, so you were in luck.
Yeah.
Because you just do a little fighting right now, and you're in a
Yeah.
lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can get some fighting done back in the 80s.
But I remember.
This is pre-colors.
So after we were street fighting for a long time, and I got reasonably good, and you start to feel bad. You're hurting people, and
Yeah.
you're not hurting people. And then one.
You have conscience. I like
yeah,
that
yeah,
about
you.
you.
Got there, and I got in front of a judge, and he said, "Hey, if I ever see you back in here again, you're going to serve a little time."
Yeah.
I go, "Okay, I can't do that." But what actually made me stop fighting on the street is that I had a really good buddy in high school, and we were just out partying and stuff like that. And I'm backing up my car, and my truck is a brand new truck. I know a crazy story.
Lucky
and this
guy.
The guy stands there, and he goes, "I go, hey, move." And he goes, "Hey, fuck you." Oh shit.
That's all right.
Yeah, and so I had
This
my
ain't
two-
radio.
Yeah,
I
it's all good.
had my two buddies in their car, right? Dave was going to be Mark was a wrestler, and Dave was going to be a model. A good-looking guy, and that's what he wanted to do is be a model.
Yeah.
So I go, okay. I walk up to the guy. You got to hit me first, because I know I don't want to go to jail again.
Sure. Yeah.
So his other buddy Cole cocks me, right? And another guy hits me in the head, knocks me down. And then I wake up and I see my two buddies. They're fighting. We're fighting like 5 or 6 guys. I knock 3 or 4 of them out, and I look over, and then they broke a bottle over my buddy's nose and shattered his face.
Oh,
and then
shit,
they cut my
okay.
other buddy.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So it was a full-on brawl.
It's getting
Yeah.
dirty.
And then, and they were dirty, and so I load them. It was bad, and the cops were coming, and so I load them up in the car. And then we got blood everywhere. I'm okay, of course. And then the same guy that started the fight, right? He's flipping me off and he's everything else. So, and then I go, fuck, I can't let this guy win. So he's driving a VW bus, right? And I saved up all my money, and I got a brand new Toyota 4x4, right? So this guy's flipping me off. I get out of my car, I punch through that window. He passes out, hits the gas pedal, and goes crashing right in my brand new truck. So now I got to go.
I have never heard that one.
Dude, talk about luck.
Yeah.
So I got to take my brand new crash truck. The cops are coming, and then I got to take him to the hospital. And then my buddy goes, "Why'd you start that fight?" I go, And then I stopped fighting after that. His modeling career is over.
Oh, man, that sucks.
And
He's done.
That
he's a
beautiful
famous
mug of his.
Yeah, he's a famous photographer.
Wow, well, you got to get
Yeah.
the other end of the camera.
Yeah.
Maybe that was his fate. You brought it to him.
But my whole point back then, all you can do is now you can, you fought,
Yeah.
and we rolled. And
Yeah.
you get that aggression out, but you never knew how good you were.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And
Yeah,
in
and something else you said, though, interesting. We kind of went past it, but you talked about being humble, and you have to question yourself, especially nowadays, how good your place of training is if you're not humble, right? Are you the top of the food chain? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's always a bigger guy. There's
Right.
always an Iwi or a Tommy or a Jeff,
Yeah.
a Miguel, a guy that's ready to knock your skull in. So that keeps you humble.
Are you talking about street fighting?
No,
or
just talking
Yeah.
about training, what we do on a normal basis, and what humbles you more so than being in the street and winning fights. Of course, that doesn't humble anyone. You think you're freaking unstoppable.
Yeah.
It's when you train with guys on a regular basis and you're always hitting walls, right? It might even be a little guy, little fat Mark. Love the guy.
Well, we actually
Man,
just talked
it's a
about this the
challenge.
other day when we were rolling, and I'm like, dude, I'm to the point where it's like, you don't care anymore. Like if someone catches you in
No,
something. On
you
the
shouldn't.
contrary,
Yeah, but you shouldn't.
You know,
you
but
surprised
it's like-
it, man. You changed your whole game. For years, Miguel would just be very nonchalant. He would just be
Yes.
he'd just be very
That's true.
Relaxed and not try to submit him. You wouldn't submit anybody, right?
Yeah,
And you just play
yeah,
defense the game. The other day he's trying to break my arm. I go, what the hell is he doing? He goes, yeah, I changed my game up. Well, thanks for telling me. I'm just trying to relax. Yeah.
Hey, you guys switch roles.
No, no,
Because you're aggressive as hell.
Oh, yeah,
It's like, Jesus, Jeff.
Well, hey, look at you. Why do people do jiu-jitsu? Why do people do anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
You wanna get
some
good,
people
right?
drink. Some people drink. Some people do drugs.
Sure.
Some people get high. That's my high.
Yeah.
I mean, I came from a very addictive personalities where there was a lot of drinking, gambling, and everything else.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like that.
Yeah.
So I had to find that high.
Yeah.
And that's why people do jiu-jitsu. You've got to find that
Adrenaline.
high, that aggression.
Yeah.
And that's why, hey, I'll be 56 years old, and there's nothing that I tried to quit jiu-jitsu a couple times because it's wearing out your body, but I can't get that high.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
you certainly
interesting.
challenge yourself on a daily basis. Each training session is different. You might know the same guys, but everybody's growing, learning, right?
Right.
So as that happens, you are completely challenging yourself and your body to continue.
Right. Well, you get the young guys who are trying to kill you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you got.
John's got a whole breed of guys that want to kill you daily.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? No matter what color their belt is,
Yeah.
they're coming after you.
Yeah, and then they're very aggressive.
Yeah.
And they're very unorthodox. So you think they're going to move like that? They don't. That's when
Yeah.
you get hurt.
Yeah.
So I'd rather roll with you guys, brown belts all day long, and a black belt. Tap me out. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? But the younger guys, you got to be on your game.
No, for sure, for sure.
Being strong and spazzy is a dangerous thing.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
You know, and they're getting good, and they're
Yeah.
becoming more humble.
They
you
get
know?
it, yeah.
Yeah, but they have a different mentality.
Yeah.
And they're hungry. You know, they're
Yeah.
very, very hungry. They have to prove it to themselves. Where
Yeah.
we don't care.
Well, we're past that point to where
Yeah.
it's like,
I see a lot of people forcing submissions, and you can't always force a submission. Then you get to that next level where you learn to set something up, bait someone into something.
Right.
You know, there's different levels of the game.
Right.
And there's that point where you're just muscle and a little bit of technique,
Right.
and then you turn into a lot of technique and not so much muscle.
Well, the first 5 years at Lincoln, or I don't remember how it was, I couldn't give a shit about techniques. I
Yeah.
couldn't give a shit about belt.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just go in there, beat the shit out of each other, and walk out.
Well, that's it wasn't that the nature of the
Yeah.
beast at
Yeah,
that
that's what-
time,
and
right?
then- yeah, and it's
Including our instructor. You know,
Yeah,
he bred
no-
it into everybody.
Yeah, John was crazy.
It was a good thing.
John,
No, I think so.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
John-
I think that's what kind of waters it down. Martial arts after a while is that you start caring more about like the material thing as far as like belts and this and that, and it's like you said, you guys both said it. For every bad motherfucker, there's somebody badder. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah.
I can tell you this: for years and years and years, you just didn't know it. You had your gi in your car, you had your gloves in your car, big ones, small ones, mouthpiece, your shin guards, everything. You just didn't know what he was going to say. Put on your gear.
Oh, yeah.
What gear? You better have it with you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Be ready to
yeah.
go. You didn't know if you were throwing 3 days in a row, rolling 3 days in a row, or
I don't-
none of the above.
As much as I love John, I don't think John knew.
Well,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
may
he
be
just
that
straight
may be
winged
the
it.
case. but
I think
it did create a readiness in all of us.
I think as far as John goes, back in the day, we had to be one of the toughest jiu-jitsu studios in the country. I mean, you look at the people that came out of that, look at the people
Yeah.
that have grown,
Yeah.
left us, some have stayed. They were tough, and they're still a tough son of a bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
of
were
course.
really good. And, look at his successes with the fighters, the successful careers that these people have taken.
Yeah.
And, some are doing really well. Some are fighting, some are teaching. But I just remember that. I don't know. I went to a different jiu-jitsu studio before that, and it wasn't even like that.
No, of
You know,
course,
so-
yeah, of
and-
course.
and John's a fighting school. Just don't take it wrong. He's not sports jiu-jitsu. He'll
No,
put up with
there's
it.
truth in what
No,
you say.
yeah, no, exactly, yeah.
So
We
if
agree
we're going to
100%,
Get the
yeah.
sports jiu-jitsu guys, we'll struggle a little bit. But when you throw the gloves on, it's a different story.
Yeah.
We can stop them in the tracks, yeah.
We're a fighting.
Sure.
We're a fighting school.
It's interesting that you say that,
My
Miguel
opinion.
and I.
Only John.
Well,
my opinion.
I don't know that that's an opinion. There's
No, it's the
fact in
truth.
that, right?
I say it all the time. When any place that we get invited to, out of respect to everybody, we're like, well, yes, we do jiu-jitsu. Yes, we are primarily based on jiu-jitsu, but we're a fight school. Period. We're a fight school. That's the way it is.
When
you
I
know?
look back at his career and where he came from, really, it came from Vale Tudo. At that time, it wasn't even called MMA.
Is that why you wore those little shorts?
Miguel wears them too when he fights. So,
A Warman is on.
if I could fit in them, I'd rock them too.
I always go, what kind of shorts is John going to wear this fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but at that time, it was no holds barred, and Vale Tudo
Yeah,
alludes to that same kind of thing. And as he developed his fight style, which is what we all grew to learn from him, that is what we actually know. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a combination of the things that worked. He
Right.
whittled it down himself, and what worked, and because he said thousands of times, "You don't have to be athletic. I'm not athletic. Look what I can do. Now you do that."
That's true.
And he's right.
Yeah.
The rest of us should be able to do that. It's
Right.
not anything that's far fetched that the regular guy couldn't work hard and learn.
Right.
You
But
know?
you do take now, in my opinion only, when I was coming up, and I'd see even Tommy and Iwi and everything else, I'd say we're fair to Midland athletes, but you get some of these guys, like I say, a Jimmy that comes there.
Oh, yeah.
These
He's a
guys-
Perfect
super
example. Look at
They're-
Henry
they're-
Corrales, man.
Yeah.
That
does-
dude is a
Athletes.
freak athlete.
They're athletes.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
on top of that, add his fighting techniques and just his heart and overall his balls.
It's very
Yeah.
true. Very
So
true.
And there's
just-
a lot of guys like Henry.
Yeah, yeah.
He's tough. I mean, Henry's spectacular,
Yeah.
toughest guy, but that caliber is crazy.
No, for sure.
And that's an athlete. That's
Yeah.
why, we were more bullies.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know? I mean, we can fight and do else.
Punks and bullies.
Yeah.
We weren't much better than that. I
Yeah.
won't act like I was. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
But those
Yeah.
guys are athletes. You throw those athletes in the mix,
For sure.
you know?
Yeah.
It-
Well, to talk about Henry, if you can remember when he first joined us, and this
yeah,
is
nobody talked to him besides me.
yeah, and he walks in, and we weren't that way. We weren't the greeting type of folks.
No.
And he had excellent boxing skills. He was already a killer with his hands. Didn't have any ground game, so to speak.
Right.
But man, it did not take him more than a month. I can remember rolling with him, and then he came back, and maybe a few months later,
I
that was
agree.
it.
Yeah.
It
for
was
sure.
killer instinct.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm in a vice choke, which nobody ever got me in.
Yeah.
And yet he puts me in it in 1 second, and maybe even alluded to the fact that I'm going to get you.
Yeah.
And he did. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, off the Richter scale, how quick one fight style leads to the next if you're really good. You know what I mean? And he's a fighter, so he got it.
And some guys like him are just freaks in nature.
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
You
He's
know.
an athlete.
Yeah, I agree. He is very athletic, but he also has killer instinct, which I
Yeah.
don't see very often. There are people that are really, really good at jiu-jitsu, but they don't have the ability to put someone down like Henry does.
Yeah.
Henry's like a fight dog. He's
Yeah.
ready to go.
Oh, yeah. He's
Yeah, for sure.
He's a different breed.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys probably you go to these tournaments, and I've done quite a few jiu-jitsu tournaments. you see the guys, they're ready. They think they're in a fight. You know what I mean?
No,
They got the
yeah.
shorts,
They even
got
say
their
They
that.
got their
shirt
little,
off.
yeah. I was gonna say they even say that. Yeah.
My
they
fight's
go, "I'm
coming up,
ready to
yeah.
fight." It's like, dude, you're just tapping somebody out. You know,
Yeah.
You're not fighting. And they're wannabes.
Well, it is very much different, right?
Right.
The impact on the body is different.
Right.
So to call it whatever they want to call it, they may have to rethink the definition of such. Again, without strikes being thrown, without kicks being thrown, without knees, elbows, headbutts, whatever, because they may be illegal, but they're happening, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're not supposed to grab the cage. People grab the cage all the time.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to poke people in the eye. People poke you in the eye all
Oh,
the
yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
So without all that going on, is it a fight? So there's always that argument. So we know our opinion of such, but
Well,
it
it's
is
funny.
what it is.
It's funny. So this late in my little career of martial arts, I've been diversifying myself, taking Krav Maga,
Uh-huh.
and that is totally dirty street fighting.
Sure.
Headbutts,
Yeah.
Yeah.
throat strikes,
Yeah.
groin strikes. You know, back of the neck.
Yeah.
You know, so it's interesting.
Pressure
'cause-
points, right?
No, yeah, just
Is that
you're
what it
trying
is?
to really disable.
What about
somebody.
people's weakest points, right?
Yeah,
You get
no.
to be an anatomy major.
Yeah, no, you're just basically trying to hurt them where you can,
Yeah,
as fast
okay.
as you
Okay.
can, and you learn a lot. You know, like how to defend yourself and everything else.
Yeah.
But the jiu-jitsu might not always work in the street, and that's what I learned.
Yeah.
Well, you don't
So-
pull guard in the street, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, you,
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah. You don't do it, or like
Yeah.
you know, before if somebody would attack me, I'm going to square up, and you know, I'm going to box. Now I'm going to actually block. I'm going to hit him in the throat, hit him in the groin, box their ears out, elbow strike,
Sure.
take him down, and then
Cause as much damage
More
as
as
you
I
possibly
can, yeah,
right?
because it-
Immediately.
because in jiu-jitsu and MMA, there's rules.
Yeah.
This Krav, there's no rules.
Yeah, of
So it's very interesting.
Yeah.
You know, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
it stands to reason that some people see their own blood and they panic as
Yeah.
well. So you want to cause.
Yeah, you're
much
hurting
damage
somebody.
as you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're hurting somebody, and it's really interesting how, and that's where I started with that, and then you know I diverse. So I'm going back to that. It's a different type of workout, but you can. But now, what I think is that I'll incorporate my jujitsu. You know, because I'll take somebody down and everything else, and I'm. But like if somebody goes in a turtle position, like you know we'll drop down
Yeah,
the turtle
you
position.
crack them in the back of the.
Yeah,
you know.
no, I'll just step on their calves and break their calf, and we practice that. And everybody's going, "What the hell?" I go, "Yeah, this is a street fight."
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, I'm not
right.
going to get down there and choke them.
I'm not going to grab your ankle.
Yeah,
I'm gonna break your ankle.
yeah, I'm gonna- or step on your head, and
I
it's
like
a
it.
street fight.
Yeah.
And it's a deadly street fight, but with the jiu-jitsu and that is pretty interesting. So, I think if somebody thinks, you know, if you're fighting an MMA guy or a wrestler and everything else like that, hey, these guys, you got to watch out for these craw guys, man, because they're going to hit you right in the throat.
Yeah,
You're going
of
to take you down. They're going to bite you in the throat. They're going to box your ears. They're going to fish hook you. They're going to grab your groin, not let go.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing too. Another thing that comes to point is that with the sport guys, they are so high flying and ready for submissions. Their position may not be as locked down, and without that position, there's no striking. Right?
Yeah.
You get a solid position, you could hammer fist, punch,
Of course.
elbow,
Yeah,
submit, break them down.
right.
You know, you don't really have a lot of that when you've got high flying moves going on and there's no position been taken.
Right.
So you often see people that are opening themselves to be destroyed in a striking game.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
It's totally different. But you know, I personally enjoy the sports jiu-jitsu aspect because it's fun. It's
Yeah.
very interesting, and
There's longevity in it. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
Right? If,
yeah.
You know, you're going to hurt yourself. I mean, striking's going to take its toll at some point.
yeah,
Concussion,
yeah.
joints,
we're
knuckles, you name it. Right?
Yeah.
You can only do so much.
Yeah.
But there is longevity in the sport game.
Yeah, Randy, when Randy turns it on, he's amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
he always goes light with us, which we
Sure.
appreciate. He turns on, but him and I went down to God, I think it was North Hollywood, and we took a private from Ryan Gordon. Anybody knows who Ryan Gordon is?
Yeah, of course.
Jiu-Jitsu. And then we continued. We did a bunch of privates. There's a bunch of funny stories in there. I'm not sure this is the right table to say it.
Oh,
at.
no, you can talk.
No.
This is
Yeah,
your
let it all
forum.
out, dude.
I mean,
Seriously,
if
it's all you.
If it's something you want to share,
Well,
you
it was
no reason not
Yeah.
to.
So Randy say, hey, we're going to take some privates. I go, okay, Randy, we'll take the privates, right? And Ryan Gordon's very respected. He's the best.
Sure.
So Randy reaches out to him, and this is my side of the story, okay? And this
Okay.
is how I saw it. Randy reaches out to him, and it's this beautiful house in I don't know. I think it's in Hollywood, North Hollywood.
Probably North
area.
Hollywood
Yeah.
if it's up there, yeah.
And then you look
It's
at
up in the hills or something
yeah.
like that, right? Okay.
And you look in there, and there's a Ferrari, there's a Corvette, there's a lot of money.
It's just like your house.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you're looking at
over to the pad.
Toyota or, yeah. So I go, dude, are we at the right place, man? Are you kidding? I go, this doesn't look. He goes, and so Randy calls me. He goes, yeah. So they let us in this gate, and then we walk in this beautiful house, right? And there's mats on the ground, and there's Ryan Gordon and everything
You got a
else.
Ferrari,
Yeah.
you got mats.
Yeah. So I guess there, and then there's these girls. There's a couple guys are passed out, and the thing, and there's girls walking around basically topless in their underwear. Right, and then it's like, and
Oh,
these
it's like
girls,
my house.
yeah, yeah, but you didn't have these quality girls. Yeah, they were, I was like, it's
Quality,
I'm-
not quality, man.
I thought I was at the Playboy Mansion, right? And I'm going there. So, and then Ryan comes down, and he's a little hungover, and then his brother's there, Nicky there. And so he puts him out. He goes, okay, guys, what do you want to learn? So we did it, but these girls kept walking by, and I'm like, man, I'm upside down. I go, God, I can't do this.
I can't focus. Yeah,
You guys are he's trying to teach there. But anyhow, we went back to him quite a few times, and they had some top jiu-jitsu guys there, but Ryan was teaching there.
Pretty
and
cool.
it's funny how right now I guess they're the best in
Yeah, him and that crew. He's okay.
Don Herr's
Yeah,
crew in
yeah.
there, and we got a lot out of it. But as you guys know, I really got enamored with the footlocks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then
Well, it's something that we did not focus on, so it led you to want to learn. I'm sure we all need to.
yeah, well, what led me to learn it was I think Randy had a guy from NG
Mhm.
come in there. And
Okay.
he was showing the leg locks, and then
This is like 5 years ago too.
Yeah.
We're not talking about yesterday. We're talking 5-6 years ago
Yeah.
that you even
no,
started to
I haven't.
experiment.
Yeah, but what I found out, what I liked about it is that, at this age of the game, you young guys are too big and too strong, right? And I go, I don't want to keep doing this, man. My neck, I got a big bulge in my neck.
Oh, you have no
yeah,
idea.
Yeah, I'm hurt. You get hurt all the
Yeah.
time. I go, if I'm going for his legs, man, he can't put that big body on me.
Yeah.
So that's why I started leg locks.
Okay.
And John hates it, and I respect it.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point where, if I get lucky, you roll. If I get lucky, I don't even put it on you.
Yeah, yeah.
I just let it go. Okay, but it
I gotta work
opened that
tomorrow,
game.
Jeff.
Yeah, but it got opened up to that game, and
Yeah.
Dean Lister basically started and said, "Look at
Sure.
why do you do half body jiu-jitsu?"
Yeah.
And now if you see the top guys, hey, a lot of leg locks, man,
Sure.
a lot of leg
No, of
locks.
course.
and-
I mean, it does make sense. Why ignore that part of it?
Right.
You certainly
know.
don't want to get caught. So
Yeah.
you should be learning,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because I've got Randy will catch me in that leg lock, and man, the other day I was trying to be macho, and I tried to pull out of it. My knee was sore, my legs, it hurts.
Yeah.
So it's a very scary thing.
Of course.
But I like it because I don't have to have. I know what I'm going for.
Yeah.
And those legs, I don't have 300 pounds of body weight on me.
Yeah.
I just have that legs the guy's trying to kick out, and I can follow it, and that got me to a second part of loving jiu-jitsu more than
Sure.
Yeah, half body, and I really enjoy it a lot because it's more. You're trying to intertwingle the legs and stuff, and that's when the bottom game of jiu-jitsu
Opens up.
for everybody.
Sure.
We have a lot of guys or used to have a lot of guys that all they did was triangles from the bottom,
Sure.
and they're good at it.
Yeah.
But you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Leg locks, you don't know if it's coming.
That is
Really
true.
do.
The setups,
That is true.
the bait, everything's different, right?
Right.
It can go either way.
Yeah.
Right.
So you
And John's really good at it. He just doesn't prefer to teach it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he's taught me. I'll beg him, hey, show me this, and he's got really good leg locks. But
No, the interesting thing about him, and he's told me this before, there's so many different guard games out there.
right,
In his perspective, it's just guard. Great, but if I don't know it and they're coming at me, he's like, just shut it down.
yeah,
Very simply, shut it down.
Yeah.
Three words. And as you progress and as you learn, as you roll with other people, you realize that you are just shutting that game down.
right,
So it's imperative that you do learn other games.
Yeah.
That you learn other guards, that you learn leg locks, that you learn all these. I mean,
right,
you should. It's what we do.
right.
Right?
Yeah,
You should
of course.
be a technician of all these
Right.
things. But,
But you know-
his perspective is a unique one in that he shuts things down so well
Right,
as a fighter.
right.
You
yeah.
know, and that's what we get from him.
Well, what's interesting with John, going back to, and I remember like it was yesterday. So the UFC came out, right? And we've been fighting the King of the Cage and stuff, and I'm watching some of the UFC guys, man, right, in their practices. So they're all wearing headgear, you know what I mean? They're all
Yeah.
wearing shin guards, and they're all, you know what I mean? And they're wearing some body stuff. And then we're doing monkey in middle, I think, for one of Tommy's fights. And I look at John, I go, man, I think we need to wear some headgear. I think we need to. He goes, you know what? I think you're right. And that's when John started going, hey, guys, get your gear. But heretofore, dude, when we did monkey in the middle, we just went
Sure.
toe to
course.
toe.
Yeah.
No headgear.
Bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah, I mean, we were little pads and
The old
elbows and-
Harbingers, remember those? Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's funny because that's why I go back to John and saying, like, I think at one time, like you said, his fighting background and everything else, we were probably one of the toughest schools ever.
Yeah.
And he was, before his younger age, he was probably one of the toughest guys around.
Sure.
Because he was
course.
crazy.
Yeah, of course.
He,
At
was,
that
he was
time,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, I mean, he's still tough and he's still really good.
Yeah.
But back then,
Oh, yeah.
look at those fight camps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah.
And he was in all of them. I
Yeah.
didn't see him shy away from it. And McGill was in all of you.
Yeah.
Everybody ran through those things. So yeah.
Yeah. And
No, they're tough.
Oh God,
They're
yeah,
tough.
you went through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your fight was so much easier than the training, right?
Oh, dude, hands down. Yeah.
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 Well,
Probably easier than the dieting.
yeah.
I'd rather fight right now than diet for 6
Well,
months.
yeah, but Miguel goes, and I gave Miguel, and I guess Miguel's, I'm not losing weight, man. I'm not losing weight. I go, dude, take some fiber pills.
What's
Next
that?
week later,
Dude, greatest thing ever. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, like I step on the scale, I'm like, I'm 150. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
yeah. So
I'm vegetarian. I don't need fiber.
there's always tricks to the trade.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
is.
But
but
you did come. I remember the day you told him, and then like the next day,
yeah, there's always
Jurassic Park
always
in
tricks
there.
to-
Tenacious.
There we go. And you're still thinner than you were back. You know what I mean? Back when it was
Yeah.
No, you're right. He has maintained
that
a
fight.
lower weight.
He's on a-
lower weight.
Yeah,
Than the
he's
pre-fight
eating
weight.
tons of meat, but a lot of fiber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no meat.
Yeah, but
But-
you go through that fight camp, man. And I remember when we're doing like Iwi or Tommy, right? So the way we do in the fight camp, you never want to be. We put 10 guys in there,
Yeah.
and then the first 3 or 4 guys would get murdered by
Yeah.
Tommy
Oh,
or
yeah.
or
Oh, you
Iwi or
always
whatever.
wanted to go last.
You want to go last, and then you want to go back
Fresh.
last. Oh
He
yeah,
would show in 30 minutes late,
yeah. I remember, yeah.
right?
Oh
So he was always fresh.
yeah, who?
Iwi.
Oh, and Frank. Remember Frank's?
Oh,
Oh God, yeah. And Henry's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember those
Yeah.
specifically.
I remember one of Henry's fight camps. Okay, I'll go in there, and I go, Henry, dude. You know what I mean? We're friends. What are you doing? You know, he busted my rib. He knocked John's brother's tooth out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he broke somebody's jaw.
You know what?
And I go,
Even
dude.
Robert, was there at those fight camps.
Yeah.
And Robert is a big guy now.
Yeah.
He was a big guy then, but not about half his size, right?
Yeah.
And being Hawaiian and being a striker and before jiu-jitsu or anything, this is what he believed in. So he went in there and slugged it out with Henry for fight camp, and he took so much damage that, he got in the car. We normally go to dinner afterwards, and he goes,
I'm going to the hospital.
he goes literally, something's wrong. He says to me, something's wrong. And yeah, exactly. His normal, He goes, something's wrong. And I go, what's wrong? He goes, you're not supposed to feel it till the next day.
Yeah.
His body locked up. They
Oh,
hit
yeah.
him so hard, over and over and over. Just looking, his muscles locked up. And it's a lot of both there.
Oh yeah.
And he was hurt. I think he pissed blood for a couple days.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And this is a large mammal.
Yeah. Hey. Oh yeah.
That's a testimony
But-
to how hard Henry hits.
Yeah. And Juan, you remember Juan?
Of course.
Oh, that guy was crazy. You know
Yeah.
Juan? Oh yeah.
Juan Villegas.
Oh,
Could I
yeah.
not?
Yeah, he's crazier, That son of a bitch, Juan, you go sparring him, right? All he does is put his head down, you hit him on top of the head and break your hand. I go, what kind of sparring that, That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. If you take
he
a
was
look,
very unorthodox in his striking
Yeah.
style, right? You couldn't approach
and his
it.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
for
take
sure.
a look at all those tough people that came out, and we're not even mentioning half of them,
Yeah.
incredible. I don't think there's anybody ever been tougher.
It's funny that you say that. So as we do Gym Crashers, as we do this show, by the way, like us, subscribe to us, and share this link with anybody that you see out there
Yep.
on your phone, on whatever it is, your computer you're watching on. But as we do Gym Crasher episodes, the sport jiu-jitsu guys don't know who we are. But
Right.
if you meet an old fighter, if you meet a guy that was around at the beginning when they were building what the UFC is now, then they know exactly who we are,
Oh,
where
yeah.
we came from. There's no question.
I used to absolutely love going to fights, right? And you guys, so we go to King of the Cage in Sabova, right?
Yeah.
And Sabova, they made mistakes. What they made the mistakes is that, let's say Tommy was fighting somebody else, right? So they give Tommy's tickets right next to the other guy's tickets, right? I'm just using this for example.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you're yelling and screaming for your guy. They're yelling and screaming for their guy. They're right next door, and then we're fighting those guys. We're actually fighting in the stands. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It was
no.
the greatest. You're going
No,
out
I
there.
know, because John used to ask me. Hey, we need numbers. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. You guys, so you'd see Tommy in there, or Randy, or somebody in there fighting, right? And then you stop because there's a better fight right next to you.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
closer seats. And that was the best times we've ever had. You know, we
And
had
out in the middle of nowhere, who's going to stop it, right?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
even the Coyotes at Saboba.
Yeah, and then you see they'd always have the ambulance right there with
Yep.
the stretcher, and they wouldn't be taking fighters out; they're taking audience
Yeah.
out. That was
No, the best was when they actually used to, like you said, you'd have one guy, or you're supposed to have a fight. One guy falls off super last minute, and they go out and they get like the biggest, ugliest dude.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll give you $500 and like 2 free beers if you're down to fight.
Yeah.
You know.
And the fight's over in 30
Yeah.
seconds. Oh yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
a lot of those guys went to. I mean, look at almost all of them from King of Cage UFC.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I even went to the smokers with the guys, the
Yeah.
backs of dojos, and they're serving drinks, and, it was funky days back there,
Yeah, yeah.
Those were fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see guys walk in with no affiliation, right? It might be a boxer, and then they put up a mixed martial arts guy against him, right? And he's got good hands, and he looks great, and then
Yeah, it gets hit.
he's
Yeah.
out.
Oh yeah, they always say representing themselves from
Or
ringside.
Exactly.
independent
Representing
fighters from
themselves
like
from, yeah.
Desert Hot
Oh,
Springs
yeah.
or something.
From
you
the
know?
Santa
And then
Ana
you always-
River.
I'd always take my customers. I go, hey, dude, I'll bet you $50, and they go, the guy gets this guy. Well, the other guy, the representing guy looks great because he's there.
Yeah.
He got his ass kicked every time.
Sure.
I'd win $50 to $100. Oh, well, I didn't know. Yeah, you can always find. But those were
Size them up good.
Those were good fun days. And then,
Is that something that still goes on? I haven't heard of
Yeah.
a smoker in a minute.
oh,
Probably. To be honest, now like
Yeah,
how
they-
it's so regulated now.
Well, I
I'm
think
gonna say-
gladiators like those fights are
Okay.
because they're not. Yeah.
Oh
they're-
well, yeah. I mean, if you get those weirdo out in the boonies kind of fights,
Sure. Because even New York has regulated fights now.
Yeah.
They had the biggest underground scene there was.
But I think
It had
because
to
there's
be
so
that way.
much money being made now in
Yeah.
it that it's like pointless to just.
But they had the biggest underground fight scene, I think,
Yeah.
that existed
Yeah.
in our country because it took so long for them to regulate.
Yeah.
So people are still going to do it.
No, of
No.
course, yeah. But I honestly I haven't heard of any smokers as far as like you said in the.
It's
Back
been, it's
of-
been a while, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody
It's been
comes
a
up
long
that
time.
way, right?
No.
That was a great way to get some fights on your
Yeah.
record, right?
Oh yeah.
Or the
yeah.
guys would go to Mexico and do it.
Yeah. I just saw a couple guys go down that.
Yeah?
I think,
Well, they're fighting down there. They're boxing a lot.
yeah. I just wonder how where this game's going to evolve to in like 10 years from now. The MMA game.
Yeah,
And
it's-
because the kids are getting younger, getting stronger, getting better.
Yeah.
And the fight game's getting totally different because people are controlling more of the money.
Yeah.
It's
Where
a
are
shame.
your big stars, though? So we're looking at a sport just like football, just like basketball. It's on a national, it's on a global scale. We've got big events that are competing with, the biggest of events
Right.
out there. There's so many of them. We're inundated with fights every week,
Right.
right? So does it grow, or does it take a breather and then grow again,
Yeah.
right? 2 steps back before you go forward?
I don't know. Personally, I used to pay for every fight. It was every couple months, and
Yeah.
we just sit down there and we'd
It was
look
so
forward
worth
to it. Yeah.
But those
now
were
it's like,
superstars, right?
yeah.
People we looked forward to seeing.
Yeah. Now it's
I
like,
don't know half of them,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now there's like fight nights every other night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
it's just
Thursday
a-
night
You got a free
fights.
one on Friday. You got a paid one on Saturday.
Right.
You got
Sunday, you might
another
have your
free
guys
one on
fighting.
Thursday.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
it's a lot going on.
And there's like a dojo in every corner. There's a Subway, McDonald's, and a dojo.
And a world champion to go with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I wonder how legit these guys are and
Sure.
where they're going and stuff. But it's interesting to see how it evolved.
Yeah.
I mean, the fights I used to saw. It was like Royce Gracie against Chemo.
Yeah.
Those fights, they were fights, they were
Yeah.
But-
wars.
No. Of
But
course.
he had to have heart, right? Because Chemo had no idea what Hoist knew,
Yeah,
right? And Hoist knew what he knew, but didn't know how to. I mean, I don't know if he knew that aggression and
Right.
that style, right? But he used jujitsu,
right.
and he proved it,
Yeah,
right? As long as he could, till they figured out the game.
yeah, yeah. The
I think it
game.
was 3 UFCs in, right? Lasted a whole 3 or 4. I know that.
Yeah.
Well, it
Maybe
went
5.
It went from Gracie to the ground game,
Yeah.
and then after everybody figured ground game, went back to the stand-up game,
Yeah.
and then now it's evolved. Like when Matt used it, it was all wrestling.
Sure.
So the game is always changing and always evolving.
It
So
should.
yeah,
I think that was what Bruce Lee's idea was, is that it should evolve.
yeah,
Even though he didn't have the full mixed martial arts concept down, he kind of had the idea of it.
yeah.
Even at those times, there were no Gracies in this country.
No,
There were.
no.
There weren't- Nobody knew them.
Right, right.
You know,
Yeah, I remember God, one of my first tournaments. I don't remember what he was actually. That's how old I am. It used to be called Ed Parker.
Yeah,
and
Ed
that was a
Parker.
big name.
Long
and
Beach.
Yeah, and so Bruce Lee or one of his affiliates were there doing a demonstration.
Yeah.
You know, I remember like it was yesterday.
Wow.
That's how that's how the game's changed.
Yeah.
You know, but and then you got Chuck Norris involved, and you know what I mean? And those guys, they were always supposed to fight, supposed to be a super fight, but
Yeah.
nobody'd ever do it.
Sure.
But you got Bigfoot Wallace and all those guys that are all my idols coming up, and I'd study films, or you get an 8-track, you
Yeah.
put it in, and you go, okay, I'm going to do that, I'm going to go do that, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah. But like George St. Pierre, he used to say, hey, a lot of his footwork was from the point sparring.
Uh-huh.
And
Sure.
yeah, and
The
that's how he got.
Machida.
Yeah, and that's how he got it. But you know, the point sparring that evolved and it still goes on.
Mhm.
But there are some really good. What I learned about that is control and foot speed and hand control, and where you had actually hit somebody perfect every time to
Sure.
get it.
Accuracy.
And that,
Precision.
I think
Yeah.
it may
Yeah.
come from fencing too. I see a lot of fencers with that same stance too. It's very wide open, like the karate guys.
yeah. Well,
Right?
karate guys, you'd have to worry about like being taken down.
Yeah.
You know, you
That's
just
true.
so
That wide
your stance
stance.
is totally different.
Yeah.
You know, but it's so funny. So when I remember I did a tournament. I have so many stories I've been doing my whole life. I remember my son was like, Brian was like 3 or 4. You guys know him, right?
Yeah.
Who's a
course.
legit
Yeah.
jujitsu kid
Yeah.
in his own
So
right, you know?
so I go okay, and I go I want him to always do martial arts and stuff, and so I took him to a tournament. This was a big tournament, and it's how those tournaments were back in the day, where you'd have 100 guys,
Uh-huh.
right? And those 100 guys, you fought, and then now goes 50, 25, 12, 6, 3,
Oh,
until
yeah,
you get a
of
winner.
course.
So that's what.
Just like blood sport.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of it. It was like that. So I was with the 100 guys, right? And then I got down. I think I got down. We were at 25, and this guy, tall guy, because it didn't go by weight there.
Uh-huh.
It didn't go by anything, but it went by belt.
Sure.
And this guy goes to me. He knew I was going to fight. He goes, always rumors. He goes, I'm going to hit you so hard, your heart's going to stop. You're going to die a week later. What the fuck did this guy just say to me? I don't know. I'm like 21. Does this guy really get said
I
that
love
to me?
this guy.
Yeah. No, scared the shit out of me.
It's even worse if he whispers it to
Yeah.
you.
No, he comes. Yeah. So I go. Man, I ran to the bathroom, pissed myself. You know, I think I'm throwing up. I go, but fuck it.
Yeah.
So I go.
Meanwhile, you fought with your hand over your heart.
No, yeah.
You're not touching my heart.
And I go, what? I go, what the fuck? And then I go, I'm about to go home. You know what I mean? No, my kid's there. I'm going to fight this guy. So I remember like it was yesterday. So we get in our stance right, and he throws a kick, and I block it, and then I get nervous. I just wrapped his arm and hit him as hard as I can, right in the nose. Dropped this motherfucker out cold. He's done. I'm kicked out.
Yeah.
But my whole
'Cause
point
there's
was
no
that,
head contact, right?
yeah, well,
Body only.
there was when you're in the upper levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my whole point was, you remember Bruce Lee, you can take the heart out and all
Yeah,
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I was always involved in that rumor shit.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah,
know
yeah, yeah.
this guy was going to hit me in the heart and drop me.
Sure.
So it's like that, and I got kicked out of that tournament. But that taught you how to be tough, you know. And then we'd fight like 3 or 4 man tournaments where we'd travel all through the United States and fight. And those guys were really tough, and a couple guys went out in the ambulance and stuff like that. So I think that point sparring and then that evolution got to that UFC, and then
Yeah.
those guys were really, really good.
Well, it
Like George
should
Payne-
because it's part of it.
Yeah.
Whatever percentage it is, that did get a lot of people to where they needed to be
Right.
so they could step up to the next level.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
But it was good. It was until when the UFC before that came out. There was a point sparring in every tournament.
yeah.
Yeah, and there was this other guy that we never got to fight, but he was like, we were always 1 and 2 in Southern California at point sparring.
That's pretty cool.
I go this tournament, he goes that tournament,
Pretty
and then
cool.
and then one time we were going to go, and I think I lost or he lost, so we couldn't fight each other. But it was a pretty good rivalry, and it was pretty good. But you had fun, and then
So what did bring you to jiu-jitsu? I know you did the Kempo thing, you did the point thing. How did you end up in Lincoln? You see the hooker hopped in your car.
yeah.
What lured you to that dojo?
So I was
Because it was small time, right?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
this
Back
big
then, there was-
UFC gym.
Yeah. So I was doing the crawl with my buddy,
Okay.
and he was just doing down the street, and then he closed down, and I just drove by it.
And you said, I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to
Yeah.
see what this Filipino guy, De Lao, what he's doing. Because I didn't know how to pronounce his name when
Yeah.
I met him, you know what I mean?
But I remember you're talking about it, and a lot of people know. I thought it. So I went to Chinese Polynesian Kempo, fought all the tournaments.
Yeah.
I fought the street fights.
Yeah.
And I did I did reasonable well. And then I was doing Kung Fu Sansu and everything else. And then I got offered to do an underground fight.
Okay.
So I went to downtown LA. All right, they pulled the cars up.
Chinatown.
Yeah, no, it was actually
the Dragon
it was,
Festival.
Yeah,
I'm building it up for you.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that good. And then it was just like that Van Damme movie, and it's like okay, so you go out there and I had my buddies with me and shit, and
those are the cool ones.
oh yeah,
I gotta hear this.
So you pull the cars up, and then I think it's like
you pulled up in a Trans Am with an eagle on the hood.
no, I did have a Trans Am. I did. No, I didn't do that. I didn't have a Trans Am, but that was more the Miami Vice type. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
so,
you got the jacket on, but no shirt.
Yeah.
Bumping Bon Jovi as he rolls up.
My buddy's dark complected. You know, he's like, yeah.
Oh, I know a couple of those too.
Yeah. You guys are good. So the guy gets out of the car, and it's a total setup, dude. It's a total setup.
Yeah.
It's about the money.
Most of the stuff is.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Come on.
So we start going. We just go in there and fight. You're fighting this guy, right? And I thought, bam, bam, bam. Just knocked this guy, elbow boom, took him down, fought. The fight was over in 2 minutes. Man, I'm a badass. I'm the toughest motherfucker on the planet.
Yeah.
So they call you again, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And here I go. I fought this 6-foot black guy, and he put me in the hospital. Oh, I never did that again. I was so fucked up.
What was his name?
I don't even remember. It was like fighting Jabbar.
Yeah.
I remember he comes with this big kick.
He's
It's
sitting
like,
on
whoa.
a chair.
Yeah. You're on the cement, dude. It was paved cement.
Hell yeah.
And I come with
There's no mats in those days.
I did. I remember I come over, and he's got this 6 foot. It's coming from my head. I take my forearm. I go, bam. I break his toes. I go, oh, fuck, I got a chance. And this guy just beat the shit out of me.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And you got your friends, and you get up once and then draw. I go, I'm done.
Yep.
You know, I broke ribs. Broke my nose. I
Yeah.
was just fucked up. And then they tell you, you were just set
This
up.
is why I tell you,
Yeah.
this could be a great game. I don't have a story about you. Have a story,
Yeah,
dude.
but
It's
I
a
was-
better story than most pro fighters.
I was set up. I was set up after that. Oh,
Pretty cool. How old
Yeah.
were you when you were doing that?
I
28.
think, no, are you kidding? I was 20, 21,
Oh, that
21,
young,
22.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
So this
yeah.
is like 1979.
Yeah, then I had 3. Yeah. No, it was like 80s, 83, 84, yeah.
Karate
yeah.
Kid had already come out.
Yeah. And then from there, I took a break from there, and then I had married, I had kids, and I went to a
That'll slow you down, right?
Yeah, I went to a Japanese school.
Okay. And where's this at? What's
It's
it?
on Anaheim. It's
Okay.
still, I think it's there, Yamasaki.
Okay.
So he taught.
One of those old schools. I've
Yeah,
seen Yamasaki.
yeah. He taught Schwarzenegger the swords. Very,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Eric
For Conan the
Dickerson.
Barbarian.
Yeah, he was in there all the time.
Yeah.
And then the lady, and then Eric Dickerson would come in and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then
They were cross training back then, you know.
yeah, or they're getting ready. He taught the swords. He was
Yeah.
he was a master in the swords and stuff. And
Did you use a bamboo club? Because you can't.
I didn't do that sword shit.
Oh, I was
yeah,
gonna say because you
yeah.
can't mess around with a sword.
No, they
very
did
often,
actually
right?
sword. Yeah, yeah. They put the traditional on there. And,
Yeah.
You know,
A
I
lot
did.
of garb.
Yeah, but I saw all those guys in there. You say hi to them and everything else. But it was very traditional, and I didn't. I had kids, so I didn't go very far. I just went down there, and actually, Ron Turner,
Yep.
right? Used
Okay.
to go there. He lived. I didn't know that. I used to teach Ron. You guys
Oh,
do
wow.
that, right?
Yeah, I didn't know. So
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned
You're
that a
teaching
while back.
someone
yeah.
who eventually.
Yeah, he
you
taught
could have-
me.
Yeah. That turns
Yeah.
around and happens again in life, right?
And then that's when we did. That's when I got really involved in the point sparring.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I did that for God, I think 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
I was there, and then Yamasaki. I think his daughter teaches there. He's very well known. He's for the katas. Can you guys? You guys know me really well. Can you imagine me doing a kata?
Oh, I can't
I
imagine.
couldn't
no.
remember those goddamn things. You know what I mean? I just say fake it. I go, let's just spar.
You know, I never understood the purpose of those. I really didn't. I mean,
yeah, it's just a discipline to
Okay.
make it's like a dance.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was a really nice guy, and he got this guy from Okinawa came in,
Okay.
right? And he goes, he didn't speak good English. You spar. This guy from Okinawa was doing these spinning back kicks and everything else. And he was just beating the shit out of me, right?
Sure.
And
Because it's something you hadn't seen, but once you adapt to it,
yeah, that's the problem
Right.
with everything else. I didn't see it.
Right.
So this guy goes, he's doing the spinning back kicks. I thought it was friendly, man. He comes and hits me in the head, knocks me down, right? does it again, knocks me down, and I go, fuck this guy, right? So he does it again. I go,
Exactly what
yeah.
Miguel would say
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Fuck
I
this
I
guy.
drop down, hit him fucking right in the balls.
Oh,
he kills over.
Jesus
Screw
Christ,
it.
dude.
Because he goes in the air, he's like
don't know you.
he's like 6 foot in the air. You know what I mean? I just got a little bit of wham. I go, yeah. And then he's pissed off. You know?
That's early Krav Maga before you even knew it.
Yeah.
Take
And
his
then-
nuts out. Right?
And then like yeah. So yeah.
Right in the ball.
I just, hey, I gotta win, man. Yeah,
feel you.
yeah, well,
I
you
like the
know,
mentality.
you guys were my younger day. I was dirty. Yeah, I don't think you guys. I mean, I would. Everybody ask anybody else. I was so dirty. I didn't care.
It's a street fight.
Yeah, no, we were
No,
in the
yeah.
dojo.
Yeah.
Dude, I was so dirty, man. I'd go to clap hands. No, I'd tie him up. I didn't care. Man. It was a fight.
You shouldn't
yeah.
care.
But it's so
Until your
funny.
instructor yells at you, then you let it go.
It's so funny because so I fought, but like I think a year before that, right? We Yamasaki, back then it's very traditional, so you bow and everything else. So he wants to tear down his house. He built a dojo back there.
Okay.
So we're tearing down the house, right? And we're just like 20 or 30 students in his house, and we're knocking down drywall. We're knocking down stuff.
Flip flops on,
yeah,
tank tops.
Yeah. I
Not
go,
OSHA
Sensei.
approved.
I go, Sensei. I go, no, you can't do that. He goes, well, you crazy? Get the fuck to work. What the fuck work? I go, no.
Load bearing.
I go, you hit that fucking thing. Roof comes down. We're all dead.
It's a load bearing wall.
Yeah, it was holding up the fucking
Right?
wall. So some guy hits the fucking thing, right?
no.
I run, and I'm rolling over this side, right? And the wall comes and just barely misses everything. Everybody out. So then he built a dojo in the back, right? And after I hit that guy in the balls, he's mad. He goes there.
I would be too, Jeff.
So this,
Even the instructor's like,
yeah.
oh.
So this guy comes at me again, and back then my kicks were really good, and he comes at me again, and I go, dude. So I just did a side kick. I put him right through the window, and then he goes, well, you better. And then Yamasaki goes, you should go somewhere else. No more here. Yeah, he kicked me
wow.
out. Yeah, he said, you're done.
You no more beef.
Yeah, you're too crazy. You're too crazy in the head. And I go, okay, you know what I mean. And then I go,
The
that's
legend
when
of the Great White Ninja.
yeah. Well, hey, look at it. I've been studying martial arts since I was 13, and you know,
Yeah.
and that's all we did. When you're like jiu-jitsu, if you go to good or like John does, basic, do the same thing.
Fundamentals,
repetition.
fundamentals, right?
Yeah, but I would kick thousands of times. I would
Yeah.
do side kicks thousands of times. I punch thousands of times. You go to class, punch.
Sure.
So you get really proficient at it.
Yeah, of course.
So to kick something in the side like that, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're supposed to pull back. I never pulled back. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love to fight. I love to mix it up.
I believe you because the guys that you trained with, with
Yeah.
Tommy and Frank, and how could you?
Yeah, but I was used to that type of mentality when I went there.
Yeah.
But the problem is, my skill level wasn't there. They were I was tough as hell.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I could take their punches and stuff.
Sure.
But I didn't have the skill level. I don't think I got the skill level. I don't know. I don't
the
even
learning
think,
curve at 38 is very different than when you're 20 and John's
Yeah.
putting it into you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very different kind of animal.
Yeah. But even at 38, I'll tell you another crazy story, right? You guys, some people
You're,
see this.
you're here to tell your stories, brother.
Thing, dude.
Do it.
I got my gloves on, right?
Yeah.
And then I got my gloves.
What
We
kind of
would try-
gloves? You got the 4-ounce gloves. You
We
got the
got
big
4-ounce
gloves.
gloves. We're fighting.
Okay.
We're fighting that day, right?
Yeah.
So, and we just got done sparring and shit. And then so I pull out. I had a big truck right there, and I pull out, right, and I'm going down Lincoln,
Okay.
and then I cut. I'm tired, man. I'm really tired, right? So I cut through the gas station, right, and this guy's in this. His guy and his girl are in this little coupe.
Okay.
And
They're in a Scion.
yeah, they're in there, and then so I
Off
cut up there.
22.
Yeah, I cut up there. This guy goes, he goes, he pulls up right next to me, and he's cussing and screaming at me because I cut through the gas station. He goes, "Oh, you think you're in a big truck and everything else like that? You know what I mean?"
Hey.
And I go, "Dude, come on, whatever." You
Yeah.
know, and he won't let off on it. He's in there. I go, "Dude, come on!" And then he's flipping me off, cutting me off. I go, "Okay, all right." I go, I don't care at this point. So.
Get
I
out
go,
and you're only your underwear.
no,
on.
I don't. I go, look. I say, hey, look, I just live down the street. You know what I mean? I don't want to pull over the street. Just follow me. Just follow me down there. But I go, after I beat the shit out of you, I'm taking your girlfriend. Oh, he's pissed. I didn't say that. I'm saying that for the camera. I
Yeah,
said
yeah,
something
yeah.
else. I'm taking your girlfriend.
Got it.
And he's trying to
Show you what a real man can do.
Yeah. So I pull in the cul-de-sac, right? And I go, fucking, I put my shirt back on, I put my gloves back on, I start running for this guy's car. He does a 360 and gets the hell out of there, you know.
Why did you put gloves on to protect your hands?
Yeah, I didn't want to hurt him that bad, you know what I mean?
You're a
But I'm just saying,
gentleman.
it's like, you know, it was so much fun because I loved to fight.
Yeah.
I was getting shit out of
Sure.
Tommy and somebody's on the street, you know, I love to fight.
Yeah.
And then finally, me and Brian are coming home one day, and then I go, I want to make Brian a man. I think he's like 9 or 10, right? So, yeah.
Took him to Tijuana.
Yeah.
We're going to Tijuana.
Yeah,
I think we told David.
So you know, Brian's not going to fight anybody. So these guys follow us home, right? And I go outside and fight him, and Brian runs in the house. He goes, Dad, what are you doing? I don't know. You know what I mean? He goes, you need to mellow out, you know. But
And your son is very mellow.
oh, he's
Right?
he's a lot better.
He's like
fighter.
quite the opposite of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. He's more. Yeah, he's totally opposite. He's very technical and he's really good.
Thought out,
and
yeah.
he won't get in a street fight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But we're driving down. What are you doing? You're an asshole. Stop doing this shit. You know what I mean? So that's
the
what
world was a different place.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Come
I was
on.
about to say that. Yeah.
He cannot just give you that. You have to be there to know.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah,
it's
it
something
was-
you can't explain. You just
Yeah.
can't. The
Yeah,
world
of
was a
course.
different place.
Yeah.
I
So
go to concerts and you get it in the parking lot, you know?
yeah.
Be gang members out in the parking lot waiting
Yeah.
for you. As I told you, you heard
yeah.
about those stories.
Of course.
I had to live through it, you know?
Yeah, that's all.
And
I
you do
just heard
too.
him. Yeah.
There was still stuff going on by the time you were going.
You tell me stories like you took a baseball bat to somebody. It's like,
Actually,
what the
the
hell
baseball
are
bat
you
Actually,
was
the baseball
taken to
bat
him.
came to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
on that end of that.
Yeah.
But, you
Yeah,
know,
when you're younger, you're doing crazy stuff, you
happens.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was just at the tail end that we mentioned before there was camera phones and social
Yeah.
media and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, let's see. When did we go to that show and you dropped about 18 punches into the guy? I don't know if phones were allowed to be taken out at that point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there was none of
the
this.
guy's probably unconscious. Where were you? I'm like, you got it under control. I didn't know we had to kill the guy.
Yeah.
Looked like you were doing pretty good on top. They stopped the entire concert.
Oh,
I didn't get thrown out though.
No,
Yeah, I
hell
get-
no.
We were at a
Hell no.
concert?
Yeah.
Oh, we were at a concert, my wife and and it was like, I think I was training with somebody, and it was it's an older concert, it's Leonard Skinner, right? And there's this, there's big guys right next to me, right? And then my wife's walking by, I told my wife, go get a couple of drinks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's all dressed up, she looks really pretty. This guy wants her attention, so as she walks in, it's really small, and she bumps up and hits her. And I go, oh, come on, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
now
He
you're
doesn't
asking for it.
apologize to her. My wife just goes, calm down, you know what I mean? So I think this was last year, or yeah. So she sits next
This
to
is
me.
months ago.
Yeah, that was last year. And then
Jeff is a ripe 56
Yeah.
at a Leonard Skinner
yeah,
concert.
so
we
then
need to
she's
take someone out in a General Lee.
so
I know what Jeff's all about.
so she's sitting there, right? She's sitting there, and this guy, he's a big dude, young.
Sure.
He starts dancing, he bumps me. I go, that's number 2, and I have 2 drinks in my hand, and then he starts to wave. Just waving, he hits me. So I go to my wife and go, hey, can you hold my drink? She goes, why? I go, I'm going to beat the fuck out of this guy. It's only going to take a second. She goes,
It's only gonna take a second.
no. She goes, calm
We're
down.
going to a concert with Jeff.
And the guy starts acting macho. He goes, what the fuck? And then my wife, she goes, no. So she comes over right next to him, and she says something to him like, you need to calm down because he's fucking crazy. So the guy comes to me and he says, he looks at me, he goes, I apologize. I go, dude, I don't want your fucking apologies. I can care fucking less. I
Yeah.
go, you hit me 3 fucking times. I go, you fucking step over that line one more time, and one of us is going to the hospital.
Yeah.
I don't care which one, but one of us is going to the hospital. And I whispered in his ear, and I spit on his face a little bit, you know what I mean? And so next song goes on, and he leaves, right? We're 3 songs in the concert. And his wife or his girlfriend's right there, the fucker never comes back.
Wow.
He just leaves.
I'm glad he didn't come back with something in his
So
head.
that's what I was worried
Yeah.
about.
Well, don't worry, but always be cognizant.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's the
So-
world we live in.
So then, and then 2 months later, we go to another concert, right? My wife goes, please don't get in a fight. I go, okay, I'm
It's the
not
same
getting in a
thing
fight.
Miguel's wife says, but then
Yeah.
she goes and starts one.
Oh, no, I got So,
Producer JP.
yeah. So we go to this other concert, and then we're sitting next to a young couple, and this girl starts screaming, right? And then her husband's fighting these 2 guys. I'm just sitting there like that. I go, I'm not doing shit.
Yeah.
And she's screaming, and they're throwing blows, and people are getting hurt and shit. My wife goes, go ahead. So I basically wrap the one guy, I pull him on the side, push him away, this guy takes a swing at me, and I wrap it. I go, what the fuck you doing, man? I'm
I'm
not
trying
the
to
right
help.
guy.
Yeah,
I'm the help.
I'm trying to help you.
So they're both. So we move over in the middle, right? So they're fucking the hell. Hey, it's his fault. And then another fight breaks out right from there. So I lose it. I go jump over to go punch somebody. I don't know why. My wife pulls me over. She goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I have fucking no idea."
I have no
You
idea.
said it was okay, honey.
I go, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah. And then we just went to a concert last week, and then some lady's pushing on my wife. My wife takes her elbow, boom, hits her in the face. Like, hey, this was yours. Yeah.
See, the wives get involved.
Yeah.
The good ones.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
my whole point is that my street fighting I feel is really good now because of that craw. Yeah, it's fun.
To me, it seemed like you started with that. Of course, developed your technique, and then now you're going right back to it because it's what's in your heart.
Yeah.
Right.
Big Don comes over.
Yeah.
And he's tried a couple classes.
And he's a stick fighter.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like, so the guy, you do street fight scenarios, right? So there's another big guy. He wraps Don up, right, around his legs. So Don instantly tries to put his arms in, right, to get the thing. So I go, Don, no, that's not what you do.
Behind him and
No, you don't do any of that shit. So the guy does it to me, right? I bash him in the head here, hit his nose, hit his eye, hit him in the groin. I go, that's street fighting.
Yeah.
But, trying to get a better position, Don goes, yeah, I get it. So street fighting,
I got you.
yeah, and everything else is totally different than you know what I mean? Yeah. Trying to get that better position. Don he's trying to pummel.
Got it.
You know what I mean? And Don's big and strong, and Don has amazing kicks, and his hands are good.
Yeah.
But
he's been in the game a long time.
oh yeah,
too.
Don's amazing. You know what I mean? We'll do that. But Don's learning he's learning the street fighting aspect.
Sure.
And Don's funny. He goes, I'm wearing a cup everywhere.
Just send him over to F Troop. That's what you do. Don, F Troop's right down the street.
I'm wearing a cup everywhere.
I don't think it's F Troop anymore. I think they all consolidated.
It's all of them.
And those guys got to be dead or in jail. I mean, my age.
Oh, it's generational.
It's generations, yep.
It doesn't go away.
Yep,
Yeah.
and it never will.
Yeah, but it's funny that I think you got to be humble in every situation.
Yeah,
and you
of course.
don't ever want to hurt anybody. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I
That
don't
doesn't
ever-
have it coming to him, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And in
if
your
some-
case, I mean, I'll justify the fact too that I'm a firm believer that you don't ever want to start anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
If
it's one thing
somebody's
if
got-
you're being the asshole and pushing a guy and then you
Yeah.
beat the shit out. I mean, I've always told people that
He lives by it. He doesn't start anything.
No, I don't.
It comes his way.
I'm not going to
He's a
mention any.
fucking
I'm not
magnet.
going to mention this person's name, but Dondo can attest to this when he's like walking around with his chest puffed out and he's like, "Yeah, I'm ready for." I'm like, "Relax."
Jiu-jitsu.
I'm like, "Relax." I'm like, "Dude, don't ever start shit with nobody. You
Yeah.
just keep it real. If it spills onto you, so be it." I'm like, "You don't ever start shit because with our fucking luck, I'm like, we leave here and we'll go flip the car somewhere down the freeway. Just
Yeah.
horrible
Somebody
karma,
runs a red and we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
so
like,
you're-
don't ever do that shit. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, keep it straight.
But anyways,
What comes around goes around.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's karma.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's
Yeah.
important. That's
Yeah.
a grown-up attitude. I like that.
But
Miguel.
don't you love
the sound of your fist and somebody
No,
else's
but
bones?
yeah. There is a thing like we are men, and we are testosterone driven.
You should
and,
be.
And yeah, and we were born to fight. We were born to survive, and you know what I mean. And when you're in a fight, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a great story. So I was just married, right, and I had 2 kids. So I was bouncing at this place called the Loose Moose.
Yeah.
And you saw Patrick Swayze, that movie it was in?
Yeah.
It was just like that.
Okay.
All right? So it was just like that. And
And your name was Dalton.
yeah. I mean, I wish I was that good. But
That was a movie. Don't get carried away.
yeah. So, we get paid like you had the Mongols coming in, the Vagos coming in, and I always had to tell them, I go, "Hey dude, you got to take your colors off."
Yeah.
And they're not, because once they take their colors off, nobody knows who they are in
Yeah.
a bar. So you know what I mean. So they wouldn't like that. So I'd always have to do that. You know what I mean? Take your colors off, you can't come in, and they'd get really snappy.
You're the first one to be confrontational.
Yeah. So one guy pulled a gun on me and shot through the door. I just shut the
Okay.
door. There's a little 38 in there, and then but back then PCP was a
Ooh.
drug of choice, right?
All right.
And
Yeah.
so this guy's on PCP. We didn't know. I mean, it
Good
was
luck taking him down.
Yeah, exactly. So he's so high on something, right? But he's picking up. There was sawdust on the floor. There was the tables and stuff like. So this guy's picking up on the lead singer's wife or girlfriend, right? So all of a sudden you see the lead singer jump off stage and starting to fight this guy. So we got to break up this fight, right?
Okay.
And this guy in PCP throws everybody away.
Oh, of course.
And I go, holy shit. And I go in there, he knocks me fucking to the wall. My buddy Rob, he knocks him to the wall, right? And he's throwing tables, he's beating the shit out of everybody. He's a big guy normally.
Yeah.
And I go, what the fuck is going on here,
Yeah.
right? And we got to stop this fight. So I go to Rob. I go, look at you distract him, because Rob was a bigger, better fighter than I was, and you distract him. So he distracts. I get in there and I run his back and I choke this guy out, and I choke him unconscious, right? So I'm on his back and I'm choking him out. He's waking up, choking him out, waking up, and Rob drags us out the front door, right? And so this guy, and I go, hey, this guy's going to beat the fuck out of us once he wakes up. So I go, get the duct tape. And I read a long time ago, if you duct tape somebody on PCP, they'll calm down. You can't see them. So we duct tape them. They calm down because they can't see what's going on.
So it's like an eagle.
Yeah.
So they cover their heads, right?
Yeah, something.
Or a hawk.
So I go, duct tape, get some rope, man, because he wakes up, he's going to kill us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, and I
Screw
go,
the kidnapping charge. Just tie him down.
So I have blood on my face. I'm walking up, but this guy's pretty bloody at this point because
Yeah.
we're trying to beat the shit out of
Sure.
him. And then he wakes up and we're pounding on him because he's
Again.
pounding on us, right?
Yeah.
And then we get him down. I choke him out again. And there's like my buddies used to go to that bar. So there's like 5 or 6 guys there, and we're just I go my buddies would hang out there, and they were big fighters too. So I get him on his knees, right, and I have him duct tape, and I tie his hands to the fence. I have him down like Jesus. Okay, I go call the cops. I go call the fucking sheriff, right? So they call the sheriff. They take forever to get there, right? The sheriff comes, and he sees this guy, blood's pouring off. I wipe it all. He goes, "What the fuck happened?" And I would tell him, I go, hey, you got out of control and everything else. He puts me in handcuffs.
Yeah.
He fucking puts me in
You can't
handcuffs.
bind another human being
Yeah.
in such a way.
Yeah, he puts me in fucking handcuffs, right? And then all my buddies are in the bar, and nobody's coming out to help me. Nobody can prove this shit, and I'm in fucking handcuffs. So this stupid cop unties him, right? Unties him.
He
He
flips
beats
out.
the shit out of the cop. He turns.
I told you.
He reaches for his fucking gun, so I go up and I'm handcuffed. I kick him right in the fucking face. The cop grabs him, puts me in handcuffs, and takes him to jail. He lets me go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
that was, and we would have a situation like
Not
that.
too smug and fart.
Yeah. Oh,
For
yeah.
sure.
But then, so I did that for a while, and then I remember I'm at the bar, and we had a dress code, believe it or not, right? So this guy
Okay.
would come in here, and we just didn't want his shirt unbuttoned. And this guy, every time he'd come in, and I go, dude, you gotta button up your shirt. And this guy goes, yeah, whatever. And I go, no, you gotta button up your shirt. You're gonna get the fuck out of here, right? So I look at he has a beer in his left hand, right? And his hand's open in his right hand. So I know he's gonna hit me.
Sure.
Because I didn't like this guy, and I said, hey, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I grab the right hand, Cole cocks me to the left. Knocks me out cold, right? I'm right there. I'm like there. My buddy Rob gets me up, and he goes, what happened? I go, where's that guy? So he's right there in the bar stool. I kick the bar stool, and I'm beating the fuck out of him. I don't care, man. This guy's going to the hospital right now. The owner comes in. He goes, what happened? Fired me. You know,
man.
but it was crazy.
You got yours. That's okay.
Yeah,
Right?
but I had like I'd be taking a piss, and the Mongols and the Vagos are having a knife fight in the bathroom.
Sure.
You'd have to try to stop it. They're playing pool. They're throwing the balls. They're hitting stick. It was crazy. But you get an intuition of, like when Don was bouncing and Randy was bouncing, right? You lose fear of fighting. You have no fear. You'll fight anybody and everybody else. Even if you get cut, you get hurt, and everything else. And that was, you're tough. And I always love that. You know, when you're fighting, right?
Yeah.
Didn't your heart just want to race?
It
When
did,
you're-
yeah.
Yeah, and there's no better feeling than that.
No, of course there's not.
Yeah.
You know.
You're alive.
Yeah. You're alive and you're a man.
Of course.
And it's man to man.
Yeah.
There's nothing
No,
better than that.
I can't put it in. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
You're just you want to fight. And even at this age, you know what I mean? I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I want somebody to.
It's good
I
that
want.
you still
I
love it.
want somebody. I like rolling with like you said, man. You know, I'll roll with anybody. I don't care. Tap me out.
Of course.
There's a lot of people that won't do that shit.
Yeah.
You know, tap me out, learn. You know what I mean? Who cares? But that man to man,
Yeah.
1-to-1, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like. And then people they go, well, what about football? Fuck, I got to depend on 11 other people. I got to depend on 9 other people. If I lose, I lose.
Team
You know?
sport.
Yeah. I'm not a team player. I don't.
No, hell no.
I don't.
I don't work well with others.
Yeah, my wife says that. And my wife says I don't play good with others.
Hell no.
Yeah. I don't even play good with myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I do a lot of it, but maybe not so good.
Yeah.
You know? I got grip. Kung Fu grip.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. I get you.
Anyways, it's all good, Jeff, but we're coming up on the clock here.
What, really
It
already?
has been
Yeah,
an
goes by fast,
incredible,
dude.
It's an hour?
incredible. You did over an hour.
Wow.
Not that we cut
How much,
it for that
how much
reason.
do I get paid?
It's in the mail.
Yeah.
But my
Check
man,
again.
Exactly. My man Jeff Alterman, he's training Krav Maga. He trains with us at Delo Jiu-Jitsu. Look him up. You got an Instagram?
Yeah, Jeff, 1817. How do my friends find out?
We're going to send the link out to you. So you can
We're gonna
go
give you
ahead.
the and then
Jeff,
you send it to them.
1817. It's on Instagram, right?
Instagram,
Yeah,
yeah.
Instagram.
You
Yeah.
can catch Jeff doing all the stuff he does. He's climbing mountains. He's jumping
Yeah,
off
like
cliffs.
a lot of hiking. and
Right? He's in
backpacking.
different states, dark, light.
Pretty
you
soon
name
you'll
it.
be
In the
fighting
lake.
bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Went pig hunting this week, and that was fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I hope he means the animal and
I
not.
did. I did that way when I was younger.
Not crossing out
Yeah.
old debts.
Yeah, pig hunting is like riding a moped. It's really fun. You just don't want your friends to know
That's
you're
what you don't
doing
want
it.
anyone to know you're
Yeah,
doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're the Gym Crashers. Share this link. Like it on YouTube. My man Miguel over here is ready to roll with you guys anytime. We're coming out to your dojos. I'll follow his footsteps. My bodyguard.
That's right. Oh, hey, don't forget we have the 5-on-5 and the 3-on-3. Yeah.
Brings it up, yes. The Gym Crashers League here at Next Level Sports Complex in Garden Grove. Tuesdays, Fridays. It's 5-on-5. It's 3-on-3. It's once a week. You're in, you're out.
And if you win, you get a lot of money.
Yep, and hit up Robert Simerson, our
Yeah.
producer, or producer JP. Who
Or just
always
check out
responds.
on Instagram, gym.crashers.
Yeah,
There's
our
more details
Instagrams
there.
all have all the details. So, again, Jeff, Alterman.
When do you have when do you have a tournament for old people? You guys
Well,
are discriminating.
you come roll any day with me, so we're cool
Yeah.
with that. Come to the mini dojo. We'll have old man jiu-jitsu
Oh, hey, and
all day
real
long.
quick, a shout out to our friend Mike over at CMMA in Southgate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get well
Mike,
soon, dude.
Get well.
what I'm saying?
Stay well. No,
Stay
just
well.
Stay well. We
That's
know
right.
you're well,
Stay
buddy.
well.
Okay.
We're gonna spend
Yeah.
the weekend with you, Mike. We love you, buddy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, and he has his jiu-jitsu in the park, September 9th.
September 9th, jiu-jitsu
In
the
Huntington
Park.
Park, not beach.
That's right.
Park.
That's right.
We're
Huntington
going to
Park.
South Central, not to the
That's right.
not that way.
Not my home. His home.
so check it out.
So you guys
Yeah.
wear bandanas when you
Hey.
when you roll?
We just put our belts over.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. That tells everybody where you're at. Again, like us, subscribe to us. We'll be back next Wednesday. Thank you for watching. We're the Gym Crashers.
Yeah. See ya.
Well, I'm back.